Hey, what's going on, boys and girls? Good evening and welcome to Cape Side with Christopher James. I'm Christopher James. You know you love me. Yeah, what's going on, man? Good to see everybody hanging out tonight, man. A little open discussion tonight, man. That's what we're doing. And it's a pizza party. I'm going to eat some pizza while I do the show. So, anyway, the big thing we're going to hit on tonight is UFC 249. Thanks for tuning in. What up, homie? What up, Alex? Good to have you on board tonight. So, like I said, we're going to just, go a little fun into UFC 249. Let me just do a little work here real quick. And boom, we are live. I don't know if I got one person or two person. I don't care, man. We're just going to have some fun tonight, man. Welcome aboard. Good to see you. If you got any comments, especially if you're watching on Facebook, hit me up with the questions, and we will definitely discuss them. So, and we're going to get to some stuff here in just a few minutes. But before we get rolling, I just want to say hello. How's everybody doing tonight? Good to have you on board. Drop some comments. I'm going to eat me some pizza because I've been out running and gunning all day delivering groceries. So look at that, man. Meatballs, pepperoni, double meatballs, and pork or sausage. Oh. I should have hot fuck. No. But it's good. So anyway, lots of stuff going on. UFC 249. Everybody says it's going to be called 250, but it's not. It's going to be called 249. They're not going to skip any numbers. And a fight I was hoping to see on this card was going to be Tyron Woodley, the chosen one himself, taking on Colby Chaos Covington. Those two don't like each other. I would hope we were going to see them beat the crap out of each other. And we were going to see Woodley dispatch of Covington. Yep, it's true story. It's true story. But he's not. It's not happening. But for me, I'm all about this is how I would feel if Covington got beat up. True story. Very true story. So anyway, that fight's not going to happen. They've been going back and forth. Some crazy words have been going on. Woodley is bent. And deservedly so, He said he wanted to fight Israel Adesanya, and then Israel Adesanya started talking shit. Now, let me tell you something. Izzy's a talented fighter. His last fight against Yoel Romero was absolutely fucking atrocious. It was not a championship fucking performance from the champion, this guy that anoints himself as the greatest of all time, calling out John Jones. Performance like that against John Jones, he'd be dead in the first round. He wouldn't just get beat, he'd be dead. Adesanya, like I said, he's talented, and but he barely squeaked by Anderson Silva, who's old, And then this fight against Romero, he comes out, I'm going to beat this guy's ass. You did nothing, dude. You did absolutely fucking nothing. And in my opinion, Romero won the fight because Romero instigated all the exchanges. Yeah, Izzy landed a few more strikes because of those leg kicks. It didn't really do shit, but the powerful, the damaging shots, the ones that were dangerous, were thrown by Yoel Romero. So Romero definitely should have gotten the win there. He got robbed. Pepperoni. And that's all right, man. That's how the fight game goes. But Romero won that fight. You're not going to change my mind. You can argue with me. Anybody want to jump in and argue with me, feel free. I can take it. So how's everybody doing tonight? I got Alex watching. Alex Stokes, what's up, yo? We're going to take another bite of this pizza. Meatball just fell off. Haha. Wednesday night pizza party. So, by the way, anybody that is watching, I might even add some of you guys to join me on the show tonight. I'm taking Costa. I'm totally taking Costa to beat Israel Adesanya. Costa's going to come in there and he's going to put the fucking pressure on. He's not going to fucking fight like Izzy did against Romero. He's going to come out there to take off Izzy's head, and by God, I hope he does. I've never been the big Israel Adesanya backer. It's funny how this all works. A guy comes out, gets vocal, does a few fights, wins some fights, blah, 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 blah. All of a sudden, he's the flavor of the month. Now, Izzy did what he said he was going to do, become the champion. And he did. At his championship fight when he won the belt, good stuff. But in his first defense against an aging veteran that nobody else wants to fight, and you talked all this smack leading up to it, saying you were going to go out there and show people why. Not even close, Houston. Not even close. And then you go out there and you perform like a, I don't know. I don't even know what to call it. But your performance was not very champion-like. I'll say that. And, for you to get all excited about beating your old Romero like that, you were gifted that victory by the judges because they got it wrong. They got it wrong. And you got the nod because you're the flavor of the month. That's my opinion. Fight me. So, but yeah, Costa's not going to come out there and just dance around and let Izzy control the fight. Costa's bigger. He's stronger. Izzy may be more flexible and more dynamic in some of the way he strikes, but make no mistake, this one's going to come down to precision striking. And Izzy does have some precision, but Costa, when he strikes and he's precise on it, he drops fools. I'm taking Costa to win that fight. Yeah, well, you're going to see that, Houston. You're going to see that with Costa. Costa, when they fight, Costa's going to bring the heat. Then we're going to find out what Israel Adesanya is all about. Damn, I might eat a whole pizza on the air. One slice in so far, almost done. But him and Woodley were having words. And listen, Tyron Woodley, if you don't respect that man and what he did as a champion, you don't know anything about fighting. And he had a stinker of a performance against Stephen Thompson. But Woodley did something that all the other fighters don't do. Okay? And you have to respect him for it. Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a little bit. We're going to stay on this UFC stuff for a minute there, Houston, but we'll talk a little football. But Woodley did something that all these other champions don't do. Woodley fought all the number one contenders. The UFC said he's the number one contender. Woodley said, let's go. He fought them all, and until he ran into Usman and he had an off night, he lost. But he beat the rest of them. Excuse me. So, Woodley deserves a lot more respect than he gets from the fans and from the UFC itself. He's a client of First Round Management. Those guys do a lot of good things for their fighters. And Woodley is Woodley's a beast. I want to see Woodley come back, get a win, but I don't want to see him wait until, he was talking about getting 3 or 4 more wins, at welterweight. And then when he finally feels like he's cleaned out the division, he wants to move up to middleweight. Why wait, dude? Jump in the mix now, because now is the time you can get in there. And me too, bro. Woodley, it's the time for you to get in there right now, because with Adesanya up at the top of Costa, and after that, there isn't really anybody else that's challenging. So if you get a big win now, let's say you take out Covington, you're coming off a big win against the top contender, you move up to middleweight, you'll get a title fight against Izzy, because he'll ask for it. So that's, to me, what he should do. And he should do it sooner rather than later, because once Costa beats him, Woodley can go up there and fight him too. Adesanya would be the money fight at middleweight right now. You know, his star is shining undeservedly to some degree, in my opinion. But shining nonetheless, you know. So I just wanted to throw that out. Also, for you guys that don't know, the Devastator himself, Dominic Cruz, is now also a client of First Round Management. I think that news kind of went under the radar a little bit, but that's a great thing for him, and it's a great thing for First Round. You know, Dominic Cruz is the greatest bantamweight champion we've ever had. I know Henry Cejudo wants to talk around like he's, listen, Henry, you're not. Okay? You're not. TJ Dillashaw wasn't. Cody Garbrandt, come on, man. Hannah Morale was okay. But Dominic Cruz, the man. And now he's with First Round. So I'm expecting to see some really cool career revitalization. I predict that Dominic Cruz is going to beat Henry Cejudo. I know Henry's a tough guy. You can't deny, you know, his talent and his accolades. But, yeah, but Henry missed weight more at 125, not 135. So, you know, he moved up, remember. But he's done with 125 now. So, anyway, let's move on to this fight card here. Let's see if I can bring it up here. Can you guys see the fight card? We're going to start up at the top there. So, actually, we'll start from the bottom and work our way up. So, the first fight of that night, and it's going to be a doozy right here. Can you guys see the fight card? Well, it doesn't make more sense. I mean, Dominic Cruz is getting this fight because of the situation with the pandemic. He's been on the shelf for so long. It's not really, in my opinion, the right thing to bring him up and give him a title fight, first fight back. Aldo getting a title shot, also not exactly what should have happened either. You know, so he lost in his bantamweight debut. How do you go from a loss to a title shot? You know, I kind of feel that they're giving him that title shot to make up for not giving him his rematch against Conor McGregor after he, and by the way, he's the greatest featherweight champion ever. It's not Max Holloway. I love Max, but he is not the greatest featherweight champion ever. That title sits around the waist of Jose Aldo, and until somebody accomplishes what he's done, then the discussion over. So, anyway, let's look at this fight card. So on the bottom of the first fight, Charles Rosa versus Bryce Mitchell. 12-3 for Rosa, 12-0 for Mitchell. These guys are both grinders. Tough sons of bitches. Arkansas raised and Boston bred. You know, it's absolutely a stellar matchup. But he didn't beat Marias. So, but anyway, so Mitchell versus Rosa. Mitchell's star is hot right now. Charles Rosa is on his way back to really shining up his star. I had him on my show last week, I believe, him and his brother. Listening to him and watching him and knowing Rosa as well as I do over all these years, watching him come up through the amateur ranks. I mean, 20 amateur fights before he turned pro. Then he did his pro stuff. You know, I've seen Charles Rosa, and he's evolved and continued to evolve. He brings the fight every time. You're not going to get a boring fight. It's must-see TV. And across the octagon from him will be the same thing in Bryce Mitchell. Thug Nasty is legit, you know. These two guys, you know, they got into a war of words, you know, a little bit respectful somewhat, and they respect each other, and they want to beat the shit out of each other. I'm completely stoked about this fight. It makes a lot of sense to me to do this, you know. So, oh, and by the way, guys, we also might have a guest joining us here shortly. I'm waiting to confirm that right now. but I didn't want to talk about it because, again, if they don't show, then it feels silly. So, Rosa and Mitchell, who do you guys got? I'm probably only talking to 2 people right now, so whatever. It's like a 3-man discussion. Stokes says Bryce Mitchell. And I don't know who I'm going to pick on this one yet. I'm going to wait a minute before I pick this one. Tell me why you got Bryce, Alex. Give me your reason. Will I chow another slice of pizza? Let me see if I can find the odds on this fight. Hold on. Wrong page. Oopsie. All right, so let's see. Right now, Bryce Mitchell is a minus 190 to Rosa 165. It's, on different ones. We've also got Mitchell at minus 185 to plus 146 for Rosa, minus 200 for Mitchell, plus 150 for Rosa, minus 175, plus 153. So the odds all across the board at all the different odds makers seem to really have it, obviously, for Bryce Mitchell. Yeah, and that's it, too. I like the veteran over the young stud. What's up there, Forrest? How you doing, bro? Talking fights and eating pizza. Then I'm going to do a bong hit. I'm going to have to get up and go get the bong, but I'm going to do some bong hits, too. It's just a fucking crazy Wednesday night. Yeah. Luis Pena, beast. I love Thomas Gifford. Unfortunately, his UFC run didn't go well for him. He is no longer in the UFC. But he's got country strong, country attitude, and having him as a training partner is no doubt an asset. So I'm going to skip on that pick for right now. Let's see what else we got on this one. This fight right here, Vicente Luque, Nico Price. Nico owes him one. So there to go, a little bit bigger. Nico owes him one. He wants to get that win back. Yeah, after his bong hits and pizza, baby, hashtag that shit. I wish they gave him one more fight too, but man, he just wasn't there. It wasn't good for him. Doesn't mean he won't be back, but right now he's got to go back and work on some stuff in the gym. He's a cool dude. I hung out with him a lot during his last fight here where he fought Mike Davis and Mike beat him up. But he's tough. Mike beat the shit out of him, and he just kept on standing up and taking it. Luque is a tough guy, but this is a different version of Nico Price. And I think after Luque's last fight where he lost, I think he's going to question himself a little bit. That's just my opinion. And Nico isn't questioning anything. Nico is in that zone right now. So Nico Price all day. I don't even know how it's going to end, but Nico's going to end him. Moving on. How about this one? Jacare Souza versus Uriah Primetime Hall. This fight is going to be very interesting. Jacare can throw hands, but his ground game is solid. And then you have Hall, and Hall hasn't really lived up to the hype, since the Ultimate Fighter, he threw the big head kick, knocked the dude out. But he hasn't really lived up to what they thought he was going to be. He's a solid fighter. I think he's somewhat of a barometer for some guys, especially for younger guys coming in. But this matchup against Souza, I find very interesting. I really, it's crazy. I'm taking Jacare. I just think his veteran savvy is going to win him this fight. And again, he wants to get out there and get another win. But if Hall hits him once in the right spot, anybody can go to sleep. Which is why they do this. But Jacare has the advantage, an octagon experience, especially on the ground. Yeah, but he's never going to get out of his own way. He's already proven that for us. I mean, how much longer are we supposed to wait for this guy to, get out of his own way? You know what I'm saying? It's just not. I like Uriah Hall, but again, after the, Dave, that's wrong. David Van Auken. David, why don't you come in the show with me right now, dude? Let's do some UFC 249 talking. And then we could talk shit. Fucking, I'll tell you the Bills suck. Ha. I've invited you on numerous times. Come on. You're watching. Let's go. But it's Wednesday night. We're talking fights. We're talking the UFC. 3 minutes. All right. I'm going to send you the link right now so you can come in. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Boom, boom, boom. All right, Dave, you know how to do this. Click the link, put your screen name up, and let's go, and let's jump in here. We're going to get David Van Auken, a little special guest appearance from Mr. Fight Bananas himself. I'm excited. Maybe we'll get to see the twins. So, yeah, Dakota, if you're watching, you want to come in, come on in, baby. All right, so send me a location. You're a Cowboys fan, so one of my best friends is a coach for the Bills. Oh, man. Kind of want to pull for Uriah Hall because he has the potential to beat the best despite his mix. But how long are we supposed to wait for the potential to fucking surface, man? I mean, how many fights has he had in the UFC right now? Forrest, do me a favor. Look up Uriah Hall's record, and please tell me how many fights he has had in the UFC, and give me his UFC record. I don't care about anything before the UFC. I just want to know his UFC overall record. I don't have that in front of me. David putting the babies down. This is going to be awesome. We get to talk to DVA tonight, man. Whoop, whoop. But I don't think Jacare, his best years are behind him. But he has to win this fight, because if he don't, it's not good for him, So I'm going to look up Jacare while Forrest looks up Uriah Hall for us here on the show. Let me see. So here we go. Jacare Souza. He's 26-8. If you look back, Jesus Christ. He's now got Jacare is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And he's lost his last two. He over his last 5, he's 2-3. This is a fight he has to win. I'll just bring up Uriah Hall right here myself. Look at that. I can just do that. I don't even need you, Forrest. He beat Bavon Lewis. got that big punch in. He beat Antonio Carlos, but he lost to Costa, beat Jocko, lost to Masasi, Brunson, Whitaker. So, I mean, in his fight career in the UFC, now let's see, how many has he got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he's 8-7 in the octagon. Not exactly stellar numbers that are lighting the world on fire. So, I mean, how do you thanks, Forrest. I think it's actually 8-7. We're not including the contender or the Ultimate Fighter. Those don't count. And I don't even think it's on his record, actually. Let me see. Let me go back and look at this. Yeah, he lost to Kelvin. Yeah, I counted that one. So, but, like I said, man. Yeah, UFC Fight Night, Cowboy versus Gaethje. What are you talking about? Yeah, he's 8-7 in the UFC, if I'm correct. He's been in the 15 UFC fights, right? Let me double check that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, including the Ultimate Fighter. Yeah, so he's 8-7 in the octagon. He has to get a win. Has to get a win. If he don't, he's coming off 2 wins though. So I mean, he has to keep the thing going. But if he doesn't, get it together, it's going to be crazy. It's nuts. So, but that's how we do, I'm waiting to move on to this fight card because I'm waiting for Van Auken, but I will move on to the next fight, and then we'll get David to go on with us from there. So after that, this is a fight that I'm really looking forward to. Don't be surprised if this fight, wins a bonus, because I think these two ladies that are going to step into the octagon against each other, Carla Esparza, the Cookie Monster, against the karate hottie Michelle Waterson. This is a good matchup. The wrestler in Esparza versus the striker in Waterson. Now, granted, Waterson has, she can strike. Obviously, she has ground. She has some ground. She can submit people. But Carla Esparza is the realest, female in that division as far as wrestling goes. She's wrestled her whole entire life. It's not like she's a, Brazilian jiu-jitsu girl who picked up some wrestling defense. She's wrestled from jump, She's been wrestling more than some of these guys. Oh, meatball. Oh. Yeah, you like that, don't you? I knew you would. So on that one, wow, this is the classic. This is a fight that reminds us of why the UFC and mixed martial arts became so awesome. You know what I'm saying? Because we got to see the disciplines take each other on and see which discipline was the dominant one. Wrestling is definitely the is he really here? Ladies and gentlemen, oh my God, he is here. My man from Fight Bananas. Fight Bananas, what's up? Flexing. How you doing, bro?
Good, man. How are you guys doing?
I got to put the headphones on now because I have a guest. I'm wonderful, man. How are the babies?
Doing good, man. Literally just put him down. I had one in my arm. I saw you had the Jets hat. I'm like, oh, go Bills. And I'm like, she's falling asleep. I'm going to put her down. And I came on. That's what I do.
Well, I've tried to get you on a few times, so I'm happy you're here, man.
Thank you, brother.
So we're on the fight card, UFC 249. So we're talking right now about Michelle Waterson and Carla Esparza. I'm taking Esparza to win that fight. I think her grind and her wrestling, but she gets that ground and pound against the karate hottie. You can't. She's not as dominant as Khabib, but as far as female wrestlers go in the UFC, other than Felicia Spencer, Carla Esparza, and I only say Spencer because she's a bigger weight class, but Carla's been a wrestler her whole life, middle school, high school, college. First champion at strawweight. What do you think on that fight?
All what you said is true, and they're great points. But with Michelle Waterson, main event with Joanna, going the distance, getting a lot of cage time and octagon time, I like that a lot. I like Waterson. I think she's just a step ahead right now to Carla. I do. I think Waterson wins it.
Wow. What do you guys think? Am I right or is Fight Bananas right? Oh, by the way, is it Friday or Saturday? Saturday, right?
Saturday, 1 o'clock.
Saturday, 1 o'clock. DVA is going to be talking with UFC commentator John Anik. Great get, brother. Congratulations on getting that interview.
Thank you, man. I can't wait. We've been going back and forth for a couple weeks. I've been wanting to announce it. We almost did it like a week and a half ago, but he told me, he goes, Dave, the whole Gaethje and the Ferg, it might not happen. Like, let's not talk about it, and then it get canceled. So we put that to a side. He goes, this is definitely happening, probably in Tampa, like you said a couple days ago. So we can't wait.
Yeah, all those big media outlets are 3 weeks behind me. But I've been telling everybody from jump it would be here. I've been telling everybody Florida was open. Nobody wanted to listen. And then all of a sudden, all of them are talking about it.
Right.
Fuck all the big media guys. One for the little guy. Like David's got Anik on. Not a lot of guys get to talk to John Anik. So that's another one for one of our little guys as we make our way up this MMA media ladder. Me and Dave, Fight Bananas, K-Star, Christopher James, we're taking over the fucking world, bastards. Better get used to seeing it. And by the way, I'm glad you got rid of the mustache.
It was the quarantine, man. I was going for it. It was
dude. It was like bad porn star mustache, dude. You know?
Wait, no. There's no such thing as bad porn star mustache. That's just called porn mustache.
No. There's some good porn star mustache, and then there's what you had on your lip. And you know I love you, but that was not a good look. You don't look. You're not a facial hair guy.
I agree. 35 years, never had it. Never had it.
It's not you. But I would if you went with the like this down here, you know, without the, I think this would look good on you. I don't know why, but I just this up here by itself, or do the full goatee. You know, let it all get in there. Right. I can see that. You know, if your wife will let you.
Another fun thing I got, Christopher, was I talked to Brock Weaver. That dropped today, actually. It was awesome. You know, we went back and forth. You know, Brock's awesome. Great interview. At the end, though, he kind of dropped a bomb on me. I'm like, you know, Brock, who's someone that you would love to get into? Someone that we're not thinking of, a different name. He goes, Dan Hooker. I was like, I love that. Like, that just, it blew my mind. I love that.
It's a little too soon for that, though, for him. I mean, if we're being honest. Yeah. But I like that he wants to fight him.
Oh, me too. Like that. Who's not paying for Weaver versus Hooker? Who's not paying for that?
Me. No, I'm getting a freebie. No,
come on, man.
No. Of course, I would pay to watch that fight. It'd be a good fight. But you're taking Waterson. Forrest is taking Waterson. All right. So let's see what we got over here on this one. Now we got over next after that one. We will move on. Greg Hardy and Jorgen De Castro.
Greg Hardy, first round TKO, first minute.
Yeah, you know. I want to pick Greg because I like Greg. But De Castro is a tough son of a bitch. And he's got more fight experience than Greg. And Greg's still, Greg's still learning. It's so hard to predict a heavyweight fight, especially when they're both, I mean, Greg's a little bit older, but they're both still young in their careers. And it's so hard to predict because they both have big power. But De Castro, where he excels, is the leg kicks that this motherfucker drops on you. Takes your legs. I mean, I've watched him do it to numerous people, even before he got to the UFC, up into the whole New England scene up there. And man, I don't know. I'm going to be honest. This is one of those fights I don't know who to pick because I think it's so awesome that they're both going. And I like the best part about this fight is that they're, as far as their UFC and their career, they're kind of at the same spot.
Right.
You know, they're not putting Hardy in there with, you know, Daniel Cormier, and they're not putting De Castro in there with Daniel Cormier. They're giving them guys on their level so they can, you know, see where they're really at, because, you know, a lot of times these guys get snuffed out by getting somebody too soon, you know, and they both have a lot of star power potential, especially Hardy with all the, you know, the baggage he brought with him. But he's been a model citizen since he, even before he got to the UFC, after his football career ended, he's been a model citizen. And I just want to see him excel. Alex Stokes says, wasn't he on Dana White's Tuesday night? Yeah, against our boy Alton Meeks.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, I know you were.
I was there live when Castro defeated Meeks.
Oh.
We were shocked too, because when you go with the leg kicks, you think that might open up Meeks into wrestling, who you know is Meeks is a no one bar none wrestler.
Olympic level if he ever decides to really go all the way through.
Right. So I love Meeks in that matchup, and that's kind of the reason why I like Hardy. For one, I like Hardy's stand-up power. I think he's got more power, more athletic ability than Castro, and then I think he can wrestle. I think he can get him down if he wants to. I do. I see Greg Hardy's superstar potential in him. I think he took that fight in 10, 12-day notice with a broken hand. Not a lot of people knew that. I talked to his coach, Billy Patton, that week. He told me off air, he's like, Dave, his hand's messed up. I don't think he should take it. But Greg Hardy's a warrior. The UFC asked him, and he said, yeah. Yeah,
and you know what? You brought up a good point about who's the better athlete. Hardy, I hands down with his football career and his whole life, I think he's the better athlete. I don't know if he's 100% the better fighter, but that's why they book these fights, and we're going to find out. But this one is one of the ones I'm going to pass on picking right now, because I just think it's such a close matchup, and you know, I don't know who to go with. You know, my heart tells me I want to go with Greg Hardy, but my head tells me I don't know what the fuck to do. So I'm just going to go with my head on this one and not my heart, because sometimes I go with my heart, and you know, it's not that good. All right, next fight, guys, we're going to bring up is Cerrone and Pettis Part 2. Talk to me about that one, D.
I don't want to give out everything, because, like I said, we're talking to Anik on Saturday, and I got a couple more. We actually got an interview coming up in 15 minutes. It's going to be a huge one. I'm dropping it on Monday. On this fight, though, I'll go all in with.
Well, he froze up there. We lost David. He's frozen. Not a good face to have frozen either. I don't know what happened
100%.
to him. Wait, hold on, Dave. You're frozen up there.
Okay.
All right, there you go. You're back. You're back. So on this fight, Cerrone and Pettis. Showtime.
Showtime. Money. Absolutely money. You know, with Cerrone, let's just call it a spade a spade. It was his worst performance against Conor. And I'm not giving up on Cerrone. But just against Showtime, I would love if Cerrone fought a 12 or 16 or an 18th ranked guy. He keeps on going against first ballot Hall of Famers. Showtime Pettis, he lost his last fight. He doesn't lose 2 or 3 in a row. Not often.
That's not true. I mean, he has. I mean, when he lost the title, he went on like a 3-fight skid, and then he ended up losing 5 out of 6. So he's rebounded recently, but then he lost the belt to RDA. RDA beat the ever-loving shit out of him, and then he just went on a tear down in lightweight, and then he even dropped down to featherweight, and he got beat by Max Holloway. You know, I mean, he had a bad run, but he's rebounded very nicely. I mean, I love him. We had him up in Pensacola for the super fights, you know, with Masvidal. That was so much fun that day, dude. Oh my God.
It was. But the names you just said, you just named RDA in his prime was almost damn unbeatable. Max Holloway, who never loses. The guy loses to Conor and Volkanovski. He fights the top of the top. So I don't think Cerrone 5 years ago, it's a coin toss. Cerrone in 2020, Pettis takes care of business.
Yeah, I'm not picking against Pettis on this one. I fully think he's going to win the fight. But you know, this is a weird matchup for me. I mean, they fought before, and you know, it's this fight is more of a name value thing, I think, than anything else, because I don't know if it's going to elevate either guy in the division. You know, but I mean, you know, and if you're looking at Pettis' record, you know. He's on a 2-fight losing streak right now, and he's lost 3 of his last 4. So, he lost to Diego Ferreira. He lost to Nate Diaz.
Right.
He beat Stephen Thompson, but he lost to Ferguson. Then he beat Chiesa before that. He lost to Dustin Poirier, beat Jim Miller. Max Holloway lost. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In his last 8, he's lost 5. He's 3-5 in his last 8. So that does worry me a little bit because the thing with Cowboy, as we all know, is sometimes Cowboy shows up and then sometimes he doesn't.
Right.
He didn't show up against Conor, but if he shows up against Pettis, this could end up stealing the whole card for fight of the night.
Right. And the last thing I'll say on Pettis, it's hard. There's so many fights, and we watched so many fights. Both fights with Diaz and Ferg, I think he was doing outstanding. I think he was beating Ferg in the first and then beating Diaz in the first or even the second before the injury. Remember, he kind of rolled his ankle against Diaz, and then Ferg was the hand, right? Broke his hand.
Yep.
So
it's just crazy shit.
Right. And he goes so hard, and he does so many, crazy moves and so many stuff out of left field. It kind of catches in weird spots. I think that's how he gets, rolls some things and injuries. But we did Diaz, Holloway, Ferguson, RDA. Like, can FRM give Showtime Pettis a mediocre fight?
Yeah, but Cerrone's fought all those guys too.
Right.
That's the thing. Right. So they fought the same guys. So it's interesting, and somebody just said he's 4-7 since he fought Masvidal. Cerrone is, and Pettis is 4-8 since losing the title. So they're kind of at that same spot in their career. Again, this is a barometer fight for both of these guys. That's really what it is. And I don't see either of them being like, when I say barometer, they're not going to be booted out of the UFC. They're too solidly entrenched. And if BJ Penn could lose 8 fights in a row, then these guys can lose it 1 or 2 more and not have to worry about it. Because I think under the right circumstance, Danny would still let BJ Penn fight, although he shouldn't. So here's another fight, and this one again exciting. Alexei Oleinik and Fabricio. Verdum is back.
Like I said, I gotta go.
This is the last one we'll do with you.
That's a good one. Verdum's been gone for a while. I still think he gets the job done. I think he can standing up. He might not want to go on the ground, but he's a submission expert. So I think Verdum gets it. But yeah, Verdum.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see him come back in and do his thing. But Alexei Oleinik, again, this is another crazy, tough fight because they both have sick ground games. Right. This fight is going to end up working on the feet where Fabricio has the advantage. Alexei's a stud, but Fabricio is a bigger stud with his leg kicks and his hands. But on the ground, if Alexei gets him on the ground, that the dynamic of that match could change because he can hang with Fabricio on the ground. Not a lot of guys can at heavyweight hang up there with him, but Alexei is one of those guys. Go to the ground, he'll stay down there and he'll work. So, 50 subs in his career. It's like crazy. All right, and you don't even got to get into a big conversation on this. Main event, Gaethje, Ferguson. Just make a pick.
Gaethje, Ferg. I think you're gonna have to find out when you watch Fight Fanatic Saturday.
No. Just give me your pick, dude. You're still gonna say it again on the other show. That's good. Come on, man. You're not. Don't try to big time me because you got to save it for Attic. Shut the fuck up, dude. I love you, but let's go, man. I'm happy for you to get that interview, but just give us your pick. This is our people that we're talking to right now.
All right. So it's just between us.
Yeah, because only 3 people watch it, so it is just between us.
Tony Ferguson opens him up with elbows, ground and pound elbows, wins in the 3rd round, TKO, Ferg.
Yeah, I'm taking Ferguson to win too, and I love both these guys. Justin Gaethje and I had the best Uber ride of my life ever, and I've taken quite a few with Justin Gaethje in Toronto at UFC 206, the night that Pettis lost to Max. Wow. I was there for that whole thing. It was crazy fight week, but if Gaethje comes out there and lays up in the 1st round and just fucking puts it on him, and Tony can survive the barrage of Gaethje's punches, then yeah, I think Tony's going to win. But Tony takes the most damage in any fight he's been in that 1st round. So we're going to see how that all breaks out. Guys, I'd like to thank my buddy David Van Auken. He's part of the family. He's Fight Bananas. He's part of, he's with us, man. We're Island Fights. We're Fight Bananas. We do all this shit. He's a new dad, as you can see under the bags under his eyes. He's got 4 kids, 2 baby girls, twins. They're how old are they now? 4 months?
4 months today.
I thought so. See that? I think shit. They're beautiful little girls, man. And
Thank you,
Dave, you're a beautiful man. Just don't grow the mustache back.
Thank you, dude.
But
it's doing great work, Christopher. I've been loving this stuff at night, loving all these fighters are getting all the talking, loving the stuff. Keep it up, loving it.
You do the same.
Last thing for you, who's 6 foot and very good looking?
Oh, what a way to go out of the show. 6 foot and very good looking. Oh, man, there's so many other people than David Van Auken, but we'll get back to that. But anyway, so that was David Van Auken from Fight Bananas. Make sure you check out the Fight Bananas podcast. They do good work over there. Like I said, we both do our own shows, but we're both part of, the family. So I always support him. He always supports me, and I love that. So check him out. So we're going to move on to the rest of the card. We'll come back to the main event, but let's move on to the rest of this card right now. So we're Werdum and Olenek. I'm taking Fabricio to win that fight. What about you guys? I mean, it's just crazy. You're taking Olenek. I don't know, dude. Fabricio is better on the feet. And he's definitely he's a beast wherever it goes, but I think he's better on the feet. Olenek has 46 subs, no doubt, and just 8 TKOs. So how do you break that down? On the feet, Fabricio definitely has a clear advantage. On the ground, it's anybody's ball game. So we're going to bust into that one. Jeremy Stephens versus Calvin Kattar. This is a tough fight to pick too. Calvin, is 20-4. Stephens is 28-17. They bring a lot of cool stuff, but I think at the end of the day, I'm going to take Calvin to win this fight. I think Calvin's going to bring it. He wants to get this big win against a name like Stephens, who's established himself. It's going to be interesting to see that one break down. What do you guys think on that one? Yeah, I know exactly, Alex. How do you pick that fight? But I think Stephens wins. I think Stephens' power is going to be the deciding factor in this fight. Calvin's a strong dude. He's got good hands. Can work from the ground as well. All these guys can work from the ground. It almost sounds like I'm repeating myself when I talk about them, but they are all fighters. You know what I need? I need another slice of pizza. But you know what I need before that? Stand by, guys. How fucking cool would it be if one day my show gets to end up on TV, like on a cable network or something, and I can get up and walk off, like right now I just walked off my live show to go get party supplies. How cool will it be one day when I can do my show on regular TV, cable, whatever, and do this? That's what I'm talking about. Hell yeah. It's party time. So, so what else we got going on here, kids? So who else is with me? So Ferguson, 4th round. What do you guys got for this Kattar and Stephens fight? And then we'll move on to Ngannou and Rosenstruck. So, and if you guys don't pop them, we're just going to move on. All right, so we'll move on. Heavyweights, Francis Ngannou and Jairzinho Rosenstruck, that fight right there, Rosenstruck is out there running his yap, talking about that this fight should be for an interim title fight because DC, thank you, because DC and Stipe are still out there. Stipe is being a fireman, and DC did an interview yesterday. He was talking about it. He goes, the problem with Stipe is he's never learned how to play the fight game, and he's never endeared himself to the public. He comes, he shows up for a fight and leaves. He doesn't do any media. He's not out there, creating the persona that a heavyweight champion should have. So he's missing out on bigger paydays because he doesn't do all that stuff. And you know what? Sometimes you got to play the fight game. This is what Daniel Cormier said, and Daniel Cormier is 100% right. Daniel Cormier has been excellent at playing the fight game, and all the work he did with John Jones, somewhere in the back of his head and in the back of his mind, and you know what? Maybe even somewhere one day down the road, those two are going to meet somewhere where no cameras are going to be around. I'm talking about Jones and DC, and they're going to thank each other. They've done the public, oh, yeah, I respect you, but they still just fucking hate each other. But there will be a day. Maybe it'll be like Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence in the movie Life, when they're after being in prison forever, and then they, discuss, how cool it was to be friends with each other and they love each other. Maybe one day that'll happen with DC and Jones, where they'll just be in a room somewhere together and they'll be like, man, thank you, because of you, I made this money, and vice versa. These guys really brought a lot of financial rewards to each other. You couldn't do that whole thing without them. That was a special rivalry. So, so Rosenstruck is out there saying that this should be an interim title fight. Now, listen, I know he's undefeated. What is he, like 10-0? Let me double check that. Yeah, he's 10-0. But really, he hasn't done enough yet. And I know at heavyweight, the easiest way to get to a title is, knock out a couple dudes. But Rosenstruck should never be able to jump the line ahead of Curtis Blades. And at this point, I know Ngannou has 2 wins over Curtis, but Curtis is still the hottest fighter at heavyweight. And the next heavyweight shot should go to Curtis Blades. There's no doubt in my mind he's earned it. He's done enough, So that's the fight that should go, And if he has a fight coming up and DC and Stipe aren't going to dance, I personally, that's a guy too. Stipe or DC was talking about Stipe not playing the game. Curtis plays it a little, but I want to see Curtis heel do a full-on fucking heel turn. Full-on WWE, NWO, Hulk Hogan fucking ripping off the fucking red and gold and put on the black and white. I want to see Curtis Blades go fucking I want to see Curtis Blades put on that persona where he just loses his shit, comes out of the shell, and just starts ripping people a new asshole, verbally and then physically, I'll be eating pizza in 5 minutes. But so this fight right here. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I know. It's all right, man, with your cracked phone. You good. I still love you. But, yeah, Curtis should be next in line for a title shot. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it for me. He's earned it. He's there. Let's go. But I would love to see if Stipe is going to keep, holding off and saying, he's being fireman. He's got to take care of, all this pandemic shit. First of all, listen, I don't know where he lives in Ohio, but it's not the epicenter of this. He's not out treating corona patients every day. In my opinion, and I'm not saying he's scared, so please don't, take my comment there as saying that Stipe is scared. Stipe fears nobody. But Stipe is just, lollygagging right now. He's not injured, because he kept saying that, he had to hold off because of an injury. Well, guess what, man? If you're a full-time fireman, you can't be on the job injured. Can't have problems with your eyes, especially. And that was the injury, the eye injury. Well, if your eye's injured, you can't fucking be a firefighter. So if you're out doing full-duty, full-time fireman work, guess what, man? Then you're perfectly capable of stepping the octagon. As far as, like I said, I don't think he's dealing with this pandemic the way he wants to make it sound like he's out there doing all this great stuff. And I respect the fact that he's a firefighter and he protects people, and I get all that. But don't use that as your crutch to stay away from the octagon, dude. Because to me, that's what he's doing. Oh, well, there's this pandemic, so now I can't fight. I got to take care of, my community. How many people in where he lives? Forrest, do me a favor. Look up Stipe. I'm pretty sure it's, I don't remember exactly what town, but Cleveland, somewhere in Ohio. I want you to find out how many people where he's at, in his district. If you can find out what city he's a firefighter in, actually, if it's not actually Cleveland, find out how many people are dealing with the coronavirus up there. Here, let's just do this while you guys are doing that. I know you can still see me, so let me just do this myself here. Coronavirus, Ohio. Let's see. Yeah, coronavirus, Ohio. So, So, 13,000 cases of confirmed thing, and they're not all, let's see. See if I can pull this map up here. All right, so here's Ohio. Yeah. 550 people died. So, I don't know, man. But, it's not the epicenter. All right, so here we go. 14,000 total cases. Somebody tell me what county Stipe is a fireman in, would you? My guy's a lot more than Francis at title. Well, Volkov shouldn't get it either. He's not. I don't believe he's earned a title shot. So, by the way, I think Francis is going to beat Rosenstruck. What do you guys think of that one? Francis beating Rosenstruck. Am I wrong? Valley View. Sorry. Valley View Fire Department. So where is Valley View? Let me look at this map right here. What county? Yeah, I'm doing stats right here while I'm looking at you guys. What county is Valley View, Ohio? Huga. All right, so let's see. That's way up north there. All right, so he's in one of the busier parts of the state. Actually, yeah, one of the busier spots. But again, I don't know how much he's dealing with it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's just one of those things. Just my opinion. But I think he's using the pandemic as a fucking procrastination tool. And I think he needs to get back in the octagon. Should fight what two? What two are you talking about, Alex? Who should he fight before he gets a title shot? Well, he's fought Francis twice already. He's lost to Francis twice already. That's Francis' only claim to trying to get a shot again after he lost his title shot. So at this point, those losses mean nothing because Blades has evolved to a very dangerous, one of the most dangerous men in the heavyweight division. More dangerous and more well-rounded than Ngannou. Ngannou's got striking, but, he doesn't wrestle. So there's nobody worthy of a title shot against Stipe except Blades. And honestly, if we're looking at, there's really no reason to be doing the trilogy fights if they're trying to make money on the way out the door for DC. Because DC and Stipe will still draw more money than DC and Blades. Unless Blades and Stipe, because these are two guys that are quiet and reserved. So, that doesn't make for a big gate. Obviously, it's probably going to take place without any fans in the building, so ticket sales aren't going to matter, but it still doesn't draw the same interest. Now DC's fight will draw interest. DC's put himself out there in the MMA world. He likes to do this, and he will draw a crowd. So, all right, let's see. And now we'll move on. I don't think anybody's picking Rosenstruck. So, Henry Cejudo and Dominic Cruz, 15-2 versus 22-2. At this point, they have Dominic Cruz ranked as like the 22nd bantamweight worldwide, which is, how do you even complain about that? You know what I mean? You can't, because he hasn't fought, in a long, long time. I'm taking Dominic Cruz as well. Ring rust does not exist in his universe. Therefore, I expect to see the same Dominic Cruz with no wear and tear on his body. He's been sitting for a long time. Yeah. A fully healed, no ACL tear. Last time Cruz fought, Cody Garbrandt, so that was in 2016, so almost 4 years ago, on the same card that Nunes destroyed Ronda Rousey. Yeah. Yeah, no doubt about it. I'm definitely, that's what I'm saying, man. It was almost, 4 full years ago. Crazy. Cruz will definitely win the belt again. And I think this is the time he's going to do it. He's great at the head games. He's not going to play the stupid game that Henry likes to play. He's not going to, feed into all that. But watch him get under Henry's skin. And by the way, Henry and Colby Covington are the two cringiest guys in the UFC. They are so, you want to smack them. But their gimmicks have worked for them. They've definitely gone out there and built their brands around their gimmick. And this is what I was talking about playing the fight game. DC, Daniel Cormier has his thing. Jones has his. The great ones have that. You know what I mean? Dominic Cruz had that. The rivalries. Dominic, he's never been shy to say what he wants to say about anybody. It doesn't matter who the hell they are. Cruz is, and he's so smart. I interviewed him a few years back, man. I did like a 30-minute interview with him. Wow. Truly still one of the best interviews ever. Not just of mine, just ever. Everybody's. With any person. And now, our main event of the evening, kids. In this corner, fighting out of Colorado, by way of Arizona, weighing 155 pounds, Justin the Highlight Gaethje. And his opponent standing across the octagon, fighting out of the red corner, fighting out of El Segundo, California, weighing in at 155 pounds. He is the former UFC interim lightweight champion of the world, Tony El Cucuy Ferguson. Boom. I got to take Ferg. He's on a crazy streak. Gas for days. You know, he's the type of guy that'll go out there and take that fight against him and beat him. You know, he's the type of guy that cuts weight when you don't have a fight. I mean, there's so many. He's the type of guy, you know. It's crazy. But I just think Ferguson, this is his time. And like I said, if he can withstand the vicious punches from Gaethje, who's going to do his best to land early and often, and he survives the barrage that we all expect to see, Tony will cruise to win that fight. So, you know, it's going to be interesting, no doubt about it. Had a good show last night. Derek Minner came on the show. Let's see. Now that Gaethje has more of a training camp that's fighting on 2 weeks' notice, I believe Gaethje will win. Well, Ferguson will year Justin Gaethje. I think he meant tear. He could tear him open where the injury lasts a year. They're trying to help you, brother. But Derek Minner came on the show last night from the hospital where his daughter was born earlier that day. And then he sang happy birthday to her on the show. That was pretty fucking awesome. That was a cool moment, man. Good shit. I got it. It was a bomb. But anyway, so, you know, that's a quick little preview. I mean, we could have really went deep into these fights, but I don't think we have to at this point. But like I've been telling everybody for weeks, it's going to happen in Florida. It looks like it's going to land in Tampa, but don't be surprised if it lands. You know, like I said, I've been talking about this. I think it'd be a great idea. WWE Performance Center in Orlando is truly a building that's set up for all this. But for some reason, Tampa seems to be the conversation piece. I live in Tampa, so maybe I'll get to run into some fighters. Yeah, that's right. Derek started singing last night, and his daughter was bawling. You know, she's like 12 hours old. And then she, when he started singing to her, she stopped. Just like, she was like, oh, she heard her daddy's voice. She went, ah. Just like that. It's pretty cool. I give that to be the best. I might have to nominate that as the best singing performance on the show because of the emotional weight that it carried with it, you know. Michelle Watterson was emotional because she's saying happy birthday to Mike Davis, you know. But and then we had Impa Kasunga and I doing Louis Armstrong. I see dreams of green, red roses too. You know, that kind of shit. Fucking dope. Sherrard Blackledge with the beatbox. Mike Perry spit some lyrics a couple years ago. Fucking, I can't remember, but it was fire. Fire. Pizza. So anyway, kids, that's the show. By the way, my guest that I was supposed to have on, not David Van Auken, my guest did message me. And, yo, Jordan, what's up, dog? Said he couldn't make it tonight. He said he's going to try for later in the week. Not going to announce the name because I don't want to jinx it. So, you know, we'll see what we have coming up this week. You just never know. So anything else you guys want to hit on the MMA forefront? If not, Jordan, it's okay. You can go back and watch it, bro. You can watch it and then you can leave all your picks. Hey, listen, don't apologize, dude, man. This was an unannounced show tonight. I wasn't going to go on because my guest couldn't make it. Well, that's what he told me earlier. I wasn't sure. And I said, screw it, I'm just going to go. We're going to talk fights. Who gives a fuck? No apologies, man. Oh, good point, Alex. We've got to talk about that. Nunes pulled out fighting Spencer. And she wants a full camp. She's earned the right to get a full camp. She is the champ. Most dominant female in the history of MMA. She beat everybody. But some jabroni fucking journalist, and I'm not even going to mention where this person writes for, or who should I say, but somebody said yesterday, 2 days ago, yesterday, hey, man, I'm still going for a few minutes here, Jordan, if you want to stick around while we talk about Nunes, because I forgot to. Somebody actually had the audacity to say that she's afraid of Felicia Spencer, and she's pulling out because she doesn't feel confident enough in her ground game to fight Spencer. Listen up, ass clown that said that. You're an ass clown. Shut up. I can't stand when a member, listen, I may say some crazy stuff sometimes about a fighter, but I will never, ever, ever, ever call a fighter afraid of a foe. Fighters might be afraid of other things like losing, right? But they're not afraid to fight people. It's what they fucking do. And if you're that kind of idiot or moron or jabroni or ass clown or schmuck that wants to accuse a fighter of being afraid to fight, stop watching. Don't watch my show. Don't watch any of the other shows. Delete MMA Junkie off your phone. Don't look up records on SureDog. You know what I'm saying? Don't have watch parties at your house. Get rid of Fight Pass. You don't need it. Don't get the Zone because even Bellator is fighting. You don't get that either. If you're one of those people that says fighters are afraid to fight, which is their job, it's what they do, they've chosen profession, then you're just a complete putz. And you should not be allowed to even say MMA out of your freaking mouth. Like I say, you ask a fighter what they're afraid of, afraid of losing. Nobody wants to lose. And you could say, they're afraid of sustaining a career-ending injury or dying. Now they don't talk about that, because you just don't. That's like an unwritten thing. You just don't talk about that stuff. However, doesn't mean it doesn't run through their heads, and doesn't mean that some of these fighters don't have those conversations with fellow fighters because they're the only ones that understand what fighters go through. Me, my buddy David Van Auken, John Morgan, Brett Okamoto, even the biggest names in the business from the media side with all the access some of them get, still don't get what makes a fighter tick. We pick up on little things here and there, and mostly because we're told these things by fighters. But none of us that are in the media that weren't fighters, and when I say fighters, that doesn't mean you trained some jiu-jitsu and you took, a couple of amateur fights. You're not a fighter. You're a guy that just wanted to have a little goofy fun, so keep that in mind. But if you fought, you can have a little more say on it because you were there, you understand it. Doesn't mean that you have to be a fighter or train to be a fighter or know anything about MMA, but you do have to, and it doesn't matter if you train in MMA, unless you're a fighter, you don't know what fighters go through. Other fighters know. So, you have to take what they say about other fighters with some degree of truth. But I digress. It's time to go. I got to finish this pizza. Fucking hit one for the road for y'all. Smoke them if you got them. Stay safe. Be blessed. And as always, man, at the end of the night, I always like to say thank you to all you folks for tuning in to tonight's impromptu edition of Caveside with Christopher James. But it's time to go. So as I always say, thank you for letting me be a part of your lives today and you guys being a part of mine. We got to head on out. Thanks to David Van Auken from Fight Bananas jumping in, off the cuff. We appreciate it, man. Check out his show this Friday at 1 or Saturday at 1. I'll have to go look and post it up. But he's going to be interviewing UFC commentator John Anik. That's it. Island Fight's coming back real soon, guys. I'll have some stuff coming up, some more news tomorrow. You guys be good. Stay safe. God bless. Peace. We out of here.